Hello, my name is Andy Hughes. I'm the accountant for the Disciples Regional Office in Newton, Iowa for the Christian Church in the Upper Midwest. Today I'm here to talk to you about ministers' W-2s. First, my disclaimer. This video is for informational purposes. It is not intended to be relied upon as a comprehensive instruction on completing W-2s. Please consult your tax advisor for this information. I often get a lot of questions about how to complete W-2s for ministers, and there's a lot of uniqueness to ministers as to how it is reported. First thing you should know about ministers is that they are considered dual status employees. They are treated as employees for income tax purposes and for any other tax situations that in the relationship between a business and an employee. They're subject to the same rules as far as reimbursing business expenses for any other employee. They're subject to the same rules as far as concerning health insurance, pension fund, anything like that. They're all considered employees just like any other employees. What is unique about ministers is that they report their Social Security and Medicare taxes as if they are self-employed individuals. So that income is reported on their individual tax return rather than being withheld from their paycheck like other employees are. So they report that and pay for that tax on their individual tax return. Ministers' W-2s often will definitely look different because of their dual status. They will not have any amounts in box 3 for Social Security wages. They will not have any amounts in box 5 for Medicare wages. Those boxes will be 0. Same for box 4 and box 6 for the withholdings for Medicare and Social Security taxes. They will have an amount in box 1 for wages. And in box 1, you would report any payments to them for their base rate, for Social Security offset, any payments that's part of their compensation package, except for their housing allowance. Their housing allowance is not subject to income taxes, therefore it's not reported on box 1 of the minister's W-2. So there's no housing allowance in box 1 for wages on the minister's W-2. I often get the question about whether their ministers should be whether they should be reporting their minister's income on the W-2 or on the Form 1099. That decision is made based on the criteria as to whether they are an employee or a contractor. And there's a 20-point criteria at irs.gov that you can look at and identify whether the minister is an employee or a contractor, and whether they should be issued a W-2 or a 1099. The majority of ministers are treated as employees, not contractors. So the majority of ministers receive a W-2. There may be unique situations where they would get a 1099, but for the most part, they are treated as employees, and therefore income is reported on W-2. If the housing allowance is often a question I get asked about. Housing allowance can be reported on box 14, other information of the W-2. It's not required to be reported on box 14, but it's helpful for the ministers to see that housing allowance on box 14, and it'll assist them in preparing their own individual tax return. And then the only other boxes that you would see amounts on their W-2, you may see amounts on box 2, federal income tax withholdings, and box 17, state income tax withholdings. Ministers are not required to have taxes withheld from their paycheck, but they can choose to have income taxes withheld from their paycheck. If they do want to have withholdings from their paycheck, then they would complete a form, IRS form W-4. You can also find that form at irs.gov. And they will complete that, and then you would start withholding from their paycheck and report those withholdings on Box 2 for federal income tax purposes and Box 17 for state income tax purposes. That concludes my discussion on ministers' W-2s. Please give us a call at the regional office if you have any questions.